guys, it's Corbin Stuckey at Pixel Talk. I'm joined by my good friends. Introduce yourself, guys.
I'm Joey.
And I'm Joshua.
Today we're going to be talking about Logan. This is going to be the spoiler review that I was talking about. If you haven't seen my non-spoiler review, I will put it in the link down below. This is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen Logan, you should probably save this video, go see the movie and come back, because we're going to be going in depth about some spoilers that happened in the movie. We all saw this movie, and we're going to be reviewing it spoiler-wise, so let's get started. So, what did you guys think of the movie?
I loved it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I actually really loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed all of it, the whole thing.
It was really depressing.
But I feel like when it comes to Marvel movies, people have an expectation they have when you first go into it. And it's hard telling people right off the bat, it's like, oh, you should watch Logan. It's not what you expect, because it's really, really not. But
yeah,
even in the beginning, you could see right away that it's definitely not.
It wasn't an X-Men movie.
It wasn't an X-Men movie. It wasn't.
No.
It was just a good movie.
It really was. And like I was saying in my other review, it is obviously Marvel, but there isn't that Marvel feel to it. In most Marvel movies nowadays, they add this comedic value, in the other X-Men. Yeah, cheesy. And the other X-Men movies have done that where Wolverine, if you punch Wolverine, he heals. Oh, that's funny, he heals. But in this one, it's okay, no, this is a very serious tone. It's very different. And it's almost kind of sad. There were a couple scenes in the movie where he's freaking out and he's hitting the truck because it won't start. There was people who were laughing at that scene, but if you kind of think about it and the background of it, it's no, that's not funny.
A dark comedy.
It's
a dark not like a comedy like it normally is on the Avengers and stuff.
Yeah, it's okay, no, that can be taken as kind of funny, but mostly really serious, because he's having a freak out moment. Let's talk about something Charles Xavier dying. That was I honestly didn't think he was gonna die, because he already died in X-Men Last Stand, so I thought that was really different of them to do. But the concept of them giving him Alzheimer's basically was really interesting, and I feel as though
it was super depressing.
Yeah, it was very depressing, and
his entire character in that movie was depressing.
Yeah, and I didn't think that was something that would ever be touched upon. It's what if you took Charles Xavier, one of the greatest minds out there as far as telekinesis, or not telekinesis, sorry, telepathy goes, and what if you gave him Alzheimer's? And that was a really interesting concept, and I was oh my god, this is different. This is something that hasn't been touched before. It's taking what this movie did was it took these characters that we've known for such a long time, and it added these really ironic tropes that was I didn't think could be touched upon before, Now obviously, Logan, he's not healing. There's this chemical that was released in the air that hinders mutants from using their powers, and Logan's not healing well, so there was that, and I just thought the whole movie was just
him being totally okay with it.
Yeah, it was
the biggest part of it.
It was they were we want to do something different, and that's what they totally did, was just something different. And this is kind of the first time in a superhero movie where the title character dies at the end. I can't think of anything else, because for most superhero movies,
definitely that's the first one that does that.
Yeah, they come back. They always come back. But with this one, he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's actually.
Oh my
god.
god.
He's dead.
That was crazy. And in the scene where X-23 takes the cross and turns it into an X.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a powerful scene. Yeah, and it was a great way to end it, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, I thought it was a really great way to end it. I did think that the ending itself, it ended very briefly. It was short and to the point, but it was very effective, because it was oh god, he's dead.
There was a lot of subtlety in the movie in general.
Yeah.
The part that I liked that was really subtle is that they briefly, when there was a newscast on the television while they're in the hotel, they say it's oh yeah, this incident that happened at the casino is very similar to how the incident happened a few years ago.
When they were in the truck and the radio, right?
It was
the radio.
It was that, and then they mentioned oh yeah, it was in the radio. It's
yeah.
This is very similar to what happened a few years ago, where the same thing happened and a bunch of mutants died.
Yeah, and several X-Men, and he turns it off.
And it implies that Xavier killed them.
Yeah, that was something that...
And that's what he's living with.
Yeah, that was something that really surprised me too, because this movie is loosely based upon Old Man Logan, where in the comics, spoiler if you haven't read the comics, but Wolverine was actually the one that killed the
Yeah.
X-Men. Like he
wow.
was like mind controlled into killing the X-Men and everything. And I thought that's what they were gonna do in this movie. I didn't know how they were gonna do it because obviously you can't do some of the stuff they did in the comics because like rights and everything. But I thought that was actually something also different. They gave that to Charles Xavier. Like how would it like feel like if you like brought all these mutants together and you were like their teacher and their leader for such a long time and you just killed them all? Like how would that like feel? Like that was like a really interesting concept as well, but he's not able to like really fully grasp that because he's got Alzheimer's. He doesn't remember all of what happened.
But right before he dies, he starts really
Yeah.
enveloping it, and then it's like the closure of his character, and then he dies.
Exactly. Yeah. And the part, oh god, this was like so sad too. The whole movie is sad. Where like he does like that earthquake or shock seizure to everyone, and like they're leaving the casino, and he's like, "I'm so sorry, everyone." And I was like, "Oh god,
Yeah.
oh my
That
god."
was intense. Yeah, that was intense.
I was just like,
It's
it was very depressing.
Mhm.
I was just like, that movie overall, it's a very depressing movie.
fantastic though.
Yeah, fantastic. Like there's also just a level of uncertainty. Like there's not like especially like at the ending, like where these kids are trying to get to the safe haven, and it doesn't have like the cliche of like, oh, they get to the safe haven. Like it's still like there's that uncertainty that like they didn't make, like they just left the woods, right? They never show them getting to the safe haven or anything like that. There's not like any proof that the safe haven actually exists. It just shows that the kids are leaving. Like you don't know where they're gonna go. Like that is also a really dramatic and like sad part. Is like you don't know where this movie like leads off. Like it just leads off with like Wolverine dying, and that's another thing that I thought was really cool. Was like, life is uncertain, and you don't know if these kids make it out or not. You don't know what happens to these kids basically, and they're just on their own at the end of the movie.
What I liked a lot is that the little kids, they were like loosely based on X-Men from the past.
Yeah.
Like you can see Iceman as the girl with the breath. There was a couple other ones that I was trying to pinpoint on what X-Men were inspired from the kids.
Yeah, so I saw the Iceman one, and there was like one where she could control like plants.
The plants, yeah.
I kind of felt like that was maybe like a spin-off of Storm, because like Storm like controls like the weather and everything. So that could be like, oh yeah, this girl is just like, she controls like plants. I thought it was really funny too. Like, well, not funny. It's actually like really messed up movie wise. I was talking to you guys about this like nights ago. They basically like took the DNA of all the X-Men and paired them up with Mexican women.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
how messed up is that, knowing that like these kids are the offspring of X-Men members and
random Mexican women.
random refugee Mexican women from the border. Like that's actually like really messed up. And if you think about it, it's like, wow, this is a movie. Somebody wrote this. Like, as ridiculous as it sounds, like pairing the X-Men DNA with random Mexican women, it's actually kind of genius.
Yeah,
It
actually is.
It's really, really genius. What else should we talk about? Oh, X-23, obviously.
Oh yeah, how come you didn't talk about X-23?
So I have a problem with young actors, but with this one, she was actually
She killed
really
it.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, she really
killed it.
did.
She really did.
There's not a whole lot of speaking with her character, but like
It
just
works.
how it works is, and when she starts speaking, it's like, okay, oh my god, you're actually Spanish. Like,
And there was no subtitles at all. And
Yeah, you don't know
even
what she's
though I'm
saying.
Spanish, I couldn't really understand a lot of what she was saying, but still, unless she said single words. But so maybe she, like, I can't really judge the acting that she did on that. But even her facial expressions and throughout the entire movie, the mood that she did, she did fantastic. I think.
Yeah,
I really think she did fantastic.
I was watching some interview videos last night, and Patrick Stewart was talking about how, like, she was auditioning, and during her audition, when she was like, doing her stuff or whatever, she stopped and she was like, "Can I do it again? I want to do an improvisation." And he was just like so amazed, like an 11-year-old girl asking for an improvisation, like that, because you could tell that like she was very serious about like acting and stuff like that. So that's the reason why they gave her the role, was because like she was very serious. Like it was obvious that she had done this before. And she killed it. She totally killed it. And like I said, like you were talking about, I was really scared too because with child actors and actresses, like you sometimes are really bad. But with this particular X-23 girl, I loved her. I thought it was very similar to that of like Eleven from Stranger Things. I think that they're really good at casting like child stars now. So I can see her like doing potential projects in the future where
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
She has a future. That girl has a future.
Yeah.
Is she Spanish?
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know. I haven't looked at
her accent seems pretty convincing, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's actually Spanish.
I would think that like because she's speaking like Spanish in the movie. I would think maybe they would go for someone like, oh, we need someone that can speak Spanish, and that's hard even for a kid to like learn lines that are that perfect and that of a different language. So I would assume that she is of that origin. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not gonna like hold myself to it.
She might be Spanish because when she did some English, it wasn't quite.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I actually had problems understanding the English that she did at the end. I don't know if I was alone in that, but
it was really low.
It was low, and you really have to pay attention to what she's saying because of her heavy accent.
Yeah.
And did she fabricate that accent? Because a lot of actors, as we know, like Christian Bale is actually English. He has he does an American accent for his movies.
Yeah.
So actors do that. So I actually am curious to see her voice in real life.
Yeah, and that I will say one negative of the movie. It's like her, like we were talking about, like how it's hard to sense what she's saying, and Charles Xavier and Wolverine, like when they're dying, it's really hard to decipher what they are saying because it's almost inaudible. Like they're like so hushed. So I had a hard time kind of hearing what they were saying, but I think that left an emotional impact because it's like, okay, they're actually dying.
It brings you in a little closer. Maybe it'll be different on DVD. But it was just
the
theater experience.
Yeah, that's a good reason to get the Blu-ray is like, you can put the subtitles on and everything and just kind of like, read into what they're saying. But as far as like, just that little nitpick, like, I thought it was very well acted. I thought it was very different. And, oh my god, very gory.
It deserved...
Most of it was from X-23.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and the opening scene with, like, Wolverine, like I was saying in my other review, like, just... It's so different because, like, from the other X-Men movies, he's just, like, slashing people. Like, there's not really a lot of blood. And he's just,
and they just, like they flip out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. This one, it shows, like, a drunk Wolverine. Like, he goes berserk. He's like stabbing people. He's like cutting their limbs off. He stabs a guy like
multiple times. That happens multiple times during the movie where that's like through here.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that's really different. They haven't done that before. And like he went berserk in the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie where like he takes like what was it, like the morphine or something like that?
It says like that's a special drug that heals you quicker.
Like an adrenaline or something like that.
Or whatever
like,
it was. They implied that it had the specific things without saying what it was.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this the other day. The white guy, the really albino guy that was with him.
Oh yeah.
I like how when they're like talking to each other, like they're in that hideout. He's essentially like a wife to Wolverine. Like, I'm sorry that I'm nagging a lot. I'm taking care of you. Listen to me. You're not healing. Like you like stay out of my stuff, bitch. Like it just like walks away. Like I like kind of like that little dynamic where like Wolverine, like he doesn't care about people anymore, and he's in this situation where like he's not married, but it's kind of a situation like that where like he hates this kind of, you know what I mean? Like he's with this person, and this person's kind of like, it's really hard to explain. This character...
They have a nice dynamic.
Yeah, like this dynamic with this character, he's kind of like a wife figure, if you think about it. Like, I'm trying to take care of you, I need you to talk to me, and stuff like that. I was thinking about that the other night, I was like, you know what? That isn't something that people are talking about, And...
Could we please talk about the entire scene of the cornfield and the family? And that's when it got its darkest in Infinity.
It's like when he first gets to the fountain, you're like, they're too happy.
They're laughing in unison. You were talking about that.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were on the table, and then they just out of nowhere, like for one reason or another, they all laugh in unison, ha ha ha, and then it immediately cuts to the outside in the darkness, and I'm like, they're all gonna die.
They're all gonna
die. All gonna die.
What'd you guys think of X-24?
Oh my god, it was random, but it was very brutal. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah,
and I liked it a lot. It was a good idea. Do you guys think he's actually dead?
He's dead because they
He's
shot him.
definitely
Yeah,
dead.
he's
Yeah,
dead.
it implied that those bullets would kill even
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about, and I didn't think about it this way. I just thought of it like as a thing where they added this character because they need more action, they need more Wolverine. But somebody was like talking about it. I think that they might have been looking a little bit too deep into it. I was watching a video last night where someone was saying like the movie ends with like Logan battling himself and the beast inside him. Like I guess. Yeah, I guess I could look at it like that, but I think that's just someone like looking way too deep into it.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
But I kind of see what they're talking about.
Yeah,
like in the bigger picture. But yeah, I could kind of see that.
Yeah, I can see that as well. But
that.
like in the long run, I think they just added that because they felt like they needed more Wolverine and they needed more violence because.
Or maybe both things together.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and I thought it was cool. I thought it was like cool that how he went like berserk and everything. I don't know. I think I would have liked to see a different character, like maybe someone from the comics, because that's not a character from the comics as well as like, I know. Maybe it's like maybe Sabretooth returning or something like that.
But it's technically
We
just
haven't
Wolverine.
seen Sabretooth since
Wolverine, Origin
yeah.
Wolverine, yeah.
That would've
But
been
maybe
good.
maybe it was that like they at that point of the movie they wanted to introduce a new character, but it would be too hard to be like, oh, this is a new character, let's explain the new character. But if it was X-24, they could just briefly explain it in one sentence. It's just another X-23, but an X-24, but an increased version, not a kid, but we literally cloned them. This guy was born like 2 weeks ago, and he's fucking a full-fledged adult.
Yeah,
and he's a baby basically.
I thought that was just like, it was
brutal.
How did you clone Wolverine? Like, why didn't you just do that in the beginning? You know?
It's because they were testing. They were trying to raise them from birth into killing machines and have them like.
Yeah.
But they found that was a bad idea.
Yeah, I just
love that concept. I loved it. I love that.
Because obviously they got Wolverine's DNA like at the ending of X-Men Apocalypse, right? Yeah. So like, if they got that from like what the 80s, like why are they like just now?
Yeah,
like,
I was wondering the same
in,
exact
like,
thing.
Maybe it's time.
2029. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was a little weird. Like, especially like since like this girl is like 11 years old. Like, so that would have had to been like this is me like really nitpicking, but like it's just they needed a way to explain how they got Wolverine's DNA. Basically, it's like.
You know, a lot of stuff wasn't explained, but I kind of like that. There's a lot of movies out there that they hit you over the head with information. Like someone comes to the door and is like, "Oh my God! Look, you came to the door and you have that antidote that I need because I need it, and these are the reasons why I need it."
Yeah,
and it gave a lot of credit to the audience. It's like, "Hey, pay attention, please," and you know.
Yeah, especially like the part where like they the backstory of releasing this chemical into the air, like that isn't really fully explained. You kind of have
gotta
to like,
catch it.
You gotta catch it, especially at the end where like the guy is like, "I'm the doctor. You put this poison inside me." Like it's not like in your face. It's like you gotta really pay attention to stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what else was there to talk about? There was so much to like really talk about this movie. I feel.
We already got
We got Charles Xavier. We got there's just so much to talk about. We got Logan. We got Charles Xavier. We got the X-23, the clone.
we can talk like why did they choose Kid X-23 instead of the older one?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Origins, I guess.
Yeah, they just like I think they, because that would have made sense kind of time wise because like we were talking about like why are they just doing this now? You know, it would make sense to do like. You know, a teenage or young woman X-23, but you know, it does it works. It works. Yeah, it works. It's just it's really like random, you know. But it's cool.
But I think that added to the whole Wolverine technically having a daughter aspect to it.
That was cool.
You know, that was really cool, and then like how he treated her and how he started to warm up to her. I really dug that, and just also seeing the fight scenes with X-23 and how it was so well done, like how she was flipping through and all that stuff, and it was just such a little kid, and I don't know how they do that, and it was super fascinating because it looked so smooth.
One part I did remember, like where they impaled her, like they tried to hook her. I was like, oh my god!
I'm like,
that's a child.
No, I was thinking, I'm like, oh no, nothing bad's gonna happen to her because she's a little kid, and then
that happened.
Oh my god! Oh my god. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much like really all that we had to really talk about. I mean this movie is great. Like I said, I feel as though like it's so sad and depressing that I don't really like to think that it's canon. I think it's a movie that can just like stand on its own.
Especially with it being in the future.
Yeah, in the future. Yeah, that's how I like to think about it. It's like it's just in the future. It's just a fun movie to watch. Like, you know, you don't really have to think much about the entire X-Men before that. But Yeah, this is a really sad departure for just like, Logan, Wolverine, just like, Charles Xavier. I think they did it very well. I think they're going to have like a really hard time casting the next Wolverine. But I know they're going to do it. I know that they will have to because I really want to see Wolverine versus Deadpool. That's something I really want to see.
I would love to see that, but they've already talked about doing that. So
honestly, I had an idea for a movie. Like I had an idea, like how Deadpool like breaks the fourth wall. Like I have like this idea where Deadpool seeks out Hugh Jackman and like, hey, we need you to do this like Deadpool movie. It's like, no, I'm done with Wolverine. Like I would like that. Like maybe not like Deadpool versing like Wolverine, but Deadpool versing Hugh Jackman as like the actor himself. You know what I mean?
But remember, they have the next Deadpool movie is gonna have Cable in it.
Yeah,
and Cable can go.
I did not know that. I totally did not know that. I totally did not know that.
You didn't stay to the end of Deadpool?
Yeah, you gotta stop the credits.
Well,
I have Deadpool like on like Blu-ray if you want to watch it.
I watched just the ending. I've watched Deadpool. I just
Yeah.
watched the ending of it.
But yeah, Cable's able to go through time, so we'll be able to see. He might go back to Wolverine.
Yeah.
We might see Wolverine in his yellow suit.
Oh yeah,
possibly.
X-Men has already established that they could go through time. So even though if this happened or not, come on, it's comic book.
It's
comic book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, at this point with X-Men, I don't really care about continuity anymore. And there's so many continuity errors. Like I take really what's in front of me, and if they just make like a Wolverine with like a yellow suit, I'll take that. One thing, the little fat black kid.
Oh my god!
Oh, I love him to that. The way he
ran.
I love the way he ran, man. Perfect casting.
But what I was getting at was he had a Wolverine toy. I was really? That's all we're gonna get is this yellow Wolverine toy? But no. Besides that, oh my god. Really good movie, really good. Not your typical summer blockbuster. I'm actually glad that it didn't come out like during the summer. This was definitely a March release because like it's very somber. It's very emotionally like filled. And yeah, Logan was really good. I can see this going down as like maybe even a classic for sure. So yeah, guys, that was our spoiler review. That's what we thought of Logan. Comment down below what you thought of Logan. This is Josh. This is Joey. Would you guys like to put like any social medias down below in the description or
my
anything
YouTube channel?
You want me to do that? Okay, I'll totally do that. Joey, is there anything you want me to like put?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, not at the moment.
Okay. That's totally fine.
Instagram.com/JTCircus.
I'll put it in the link
Instagram.
down. Yeah, I'll put it in the link. Or I'll put it like in a caption or something like that.
It's JT Circus. He was in top 8.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what we thought of Logan. I am Corbin Stuckey.
And I'm Joshua Pittman.
Joey Medina.
And this is Pixel Talk.